I don't have my fuzzy fur fuzzer.
You don't got your fuzzy friend, man? Oh, man.
No, see, I have this beautiful fuzzy furry friend. And he's just my beautiful fuzzy furry friend. And he feels really nice.
Beautiful fuzzy furry friend.
Anthony's an ASMR streamer.
Ooh, do, 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 do.
You just gotta like ruffle the fur on the mic and then you're good to go. You'll be putting everybody to sleep. I can't hear that at all. You need to ruffle harder.
Ruffle hardest.
You're barely ruffling, bro. All right.
Impromptu beatbox session.
Really get your mouth muscles going.
Welcome to A4NB4Y, the Zelda theme podcast that's currently deep diving into Tears of the Kingdom, the most recent Zelda release. In the last episode, we'd completed our first temple. And this is another adventure episode. My name is Cameron, and I'm not anything today. And I'm joined by my co-hosts.
I'm Ryan Fonzie, a scary story to tell in the dark.
And I'm Anthony, that crisp sip of bubbles you get when you first open a can of pop, but not when it gets too flat, just that right crisp amount.
Delicious.
Crisp.
You wait like 20 seconds, it's all over. So you have to have the sweet spot.
It's all over. Dump it out.
All over. Got a 20-second window to drink your whole can. Or else you didn't maximize it, my guy.
You've lost crispness.
Maximize these gains.
Oh, gosh. Diminishing returns start now. But yeah, guys, we're here. We're ready for an adventure.
Adventure!
We just got done with the biggest thing going on in the Hebrew region. Most of my adventures tonight, I think, are going to be focused in that same zone. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys brought to the table. I don't know how we probably want to round robin this thing again. I know Cam's got some big stuff for later in the episode. Smaller stuff for earlier on. Can I just ask, which way did you guys go right after you got done with this? And I mean, listen, you can pick an adventure from any time in your gameplay, but like, which way did you go after finishing off the Stormwind arc?
Well,
I went straight to Death Mountain. But that's not where my adventures are going to lie.
All right, cool.
I did not leave Hebra. I, in fact, completed all of Hebra, albeit from one shrine, which I just now went back through and completed. But yeah, I went through all of Hebra before I even moved out east.
Okay.
I had to get everything. Completionist, man.
I couldn't just stay in Hebra. I had bad memories of Hebra from Breath of the Wild.
I think that's maybe it. I avoided Hebra in Breath of the Wild. Like, there was no reason for me to go up there. When I went to Rito Village, I did all that stuff in Breath of the Wild, and then I just left. I never even saw ice. So I kind of wanted to explore it this time, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I just remember spending hours going through low visibility snow with like your shrine sensor going off for a shrine that's actually underground and not knowing which side of the plateau you had to like get to.
Must be nice to have at least a shrine sensor. I was going dark.
Yeah, that, and so when it came to this game, it was like, hey, I mean, I could do Hebra right after all this, but hey, no thanks. And I decided to kind of leave and save that for another day when I was a little more prepared for what could happen. I think I wanted to do like light routes and stuff first, just to get a map, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, I left. I started going the other way. I think I actually headed towards, Kakariko and Hateno and Farron. Like I just went to the complete opposite side of the map. I was like, I want to go see these other places that could have been starter areas, but we didn't start with.
So he wanted to get as far away from Hebra as possible.
That too.
See, I was scared of the depths at this point in my playthrough because I had fallen down the well and died to a bunch of Stelphos bokoblins, or bokoblins riding the Stel horses. And then only to venture a little bit north, and like we talked about last episode, I ran into King Gleeok and he completely murdered and annihilated me, to which I just didn't go back. So yeah. I sort of felt scared of the depths. Like, I'm not ready with like 5 hearts to take this on. So I just started exploring Hebra, which is why I didn't go back to the depths.
Gotcha.
King Gleeok's scary, you know?
Yep.
King Gleeoks are scary. Especially if you have 6 hearts. But
I'm hearing someone had conquered that scariness here upon this panel that we sit upon.
I think that's for later in the episode.
With about only 6 or 7 hearts, it's true.
All right, well, I mean, if we're talking about Hebra, I do have a adventure that takes place in Hebra, which is... So what do you guys know about the elemental sets?
I've gotten 2 of the warm weather pieces, and I've only gotten 1 of the cold weather pieces. But they look dope. Mm-hmm. I know that. And they're kind of inconvenient because you need to like either eat something or be carrying a weapon of a different kind for them to function, I feel like. So because you can't just be in that climate, the clothes don't actually protect you from the climate. They just give you more attack power.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta be prepared otherwise if you want to use them.
Yeah. It's I think the Frostbite set is a little... I don't want to say useless because it's still really cool. And it's actually useful for Sky Islands because you're up in the cold. But I'll get into a little bit about the elemental sets. I love them. I have the Ember set and the Frostbite set. And I'm currently trying to scout out caves in Farron for the... I don't know what they call it. I think it's the charged set or the electric set.
Okay.
But... it's a really cool addition by Nintendo. They actually added completely new combos almost to Link's arsenal, to the point where when you do your normal combo, you actually like shoot out the element of your sword. So there's the caveat you mentioned where the base of the armor set, you have to be in that environment for it to proc. So essentially, the ice is sort of useless since you don't really ever want to go back to Hebra. And the fire is definitely good because you definitely come back and, back to environments that are, heated up. But I think the charged set is the most useful because pretty much like whenever there's a rainstorm, you have a bonus that you can just start up and you just get insanely powerful combos. And when you actually upgrade the set completely to the 2nd tier, what is it, like 2 upgrades with armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do that, you get a charged bonus to your combo, and it just shoots out like that element like 20 feet in all directions. So it's like the ice just shoots like ice shards like everywhere, and you can actually like fuse those ice shards to your weapon, which is really interesting. But it's like instant freeze for the frostbite set. When you do your combos with 3, it's instant burn with the fire set. And I don't have the shock set, so I don't actually know.
It's gonna be like Urbosa's Fury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the fire set is ridiculous. You literally like shoot a ring of fire around your dude in like 20 feet. And then the ice one's ridiculous too because you freeze everything in a radius. So like if you come into an enemy encampment in like Hebra region, just do that swirl, the family technique, and you are gonna freeze the entire camp.
Wow.
It's crazy. So that was like my Hebra adventure that I went on, and I got all the pieces, and they all look, as Fawn said, dope. I think so far I like the fire set the most, the ember set, because it's got some like horns, and I think the frost set just looks like a piece out of Frozen, and I was not digging it. Like I feel like I just belong in the royal garden, like Elsa's tower.
Gotcha.
I was not feeling it.
I think they're based on the dragons, right? Don't they kind of look like Nadra and Dinral?
Just the headpiece, yeah.
Yeah.
The headpiece is the dragon. I think the charge set is definitely going to be the one that I keep putting on time and time again. And it actually looks the coolest. I've seen like one piece of it, and it just looks super cool.
I mean, speaking of outfits from the Hebra region, I wasn't originally going to talk about this, but I feel like I should now. I did go back and find the quest for a specific helmet.
I know what you're talking about.
What's that now?
I said, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's a one of the people, I believe it's one of the people wearing a mushroom outfit, which is like a CC brand thing, but we haven't talked about CC yet, so I won't go too far into that. But they're the ones who are normally like pointing out Miskos treasures and stuff like that, or looking for specific treasure out in the wild. And this particular person told me about a treasure hunt that they were on, that there was supposed to be some kind of secret at the center of 3 hot springs in the Hebra region, like the Sturdina secret hot spring, Sherfin secret hot spring, and Goflam secret hot spring. And if you go to the center of those, you'll find you might find, it's a little bit tricky to find, but it's the North Byron Snow Shelf Cave. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with the East Byron Snow Shelf Cave, which is actually another quest that I want to talk about tonight as well. But the North Byron Snow Shelf Cave, it's like this really cool mission where you have to blow up a bunch of rocks to get water to fill up the cave. It's very Water Temple reminiscent. But when you do it, you get the what's it called?
Meadow.
The Va Meadow helmet. And from what I understand, every sage that we find in the game has one of these basically callbacks to the original Divine Beasts. And there was a helmet that was originally DLC or amiibo locked, I think, in Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. It's now just something that you can find casually on a treasure hunt in this game. But the coolest thing about it is that when you put on a Va Meadow helmet, Tulin actually gets the Ancient Sage Va Meadow helmet as well. It's just like a cosmetic. I don't think it does anything for him specifically. Like I don't think it's a buff of any kind. But it is actually the Ancient Sage version. Like when we saw the cutscenes of that apparition of the Ancient Sage telling us about the whole war back in the day, that character is always wearing this helmet, so you can never see their face. And it's got the like green Zonai type design work rather than the beige Sheikah stuff. So you can just kind of be wearing matching helmets with your astral projection of Tulin while you wander the wilds. So very cool little detail that they threw in there. It's kind of an Easter egg. I felt like when you put it on and you look over. I will say the first sage that I saw wear one of these wasn't actually Tulin. So once that happened, I went back and looked for this helmet. And it's I definitely did not regret that adventure. It's cool stuff.
Nice. Giving Tulin his swag, man. The drip.
The drip.
Tulin do be looking like the drippiest of the sages. I'm just gonna throw that out there. His little anklet, what do they call them? Tear stones or secret stone? I'm sorry. Okay, not
Secret stones.
Secret stone anklet.
I mean, like, with the secret stone anklet and the Va Meadow helm. I mean, he's got some drip.
Yeah, he do be dripping though. Okay. I think Cam could probably take a turn though.
So, I was exploring the depths, as one does, and in the shrouds of darkness I saw a looming beast, a massive creature. Hesitantly, I lit the area with a bright bloom seed to see a gargantuan frog staring me down as his next meal. A dark purplish color and single red eye froze me in my steps, glistening ore protruding from his scaled back. The health bar appeared, and my battle with the dreaded blue-white Frox began. He hopped menacingly at me, and I ran for my life. I bided my time to learn what it was capable of. He would charge me, attempt to suck me into his gaping maw, and jump towards me to crush me beneath his massive weight. Leaning on my knowledge from King Dodongo in games past, I began throwing bombs into his mouth when he tried to suck me in. This would cause an explosion within him and stun him for a time. While stunned, I climbed atop his back and began destroying his precious ore. And after another brief time, it would roar back to life and throw me high into the air off his back, sometimes allowing me to shoot him in the eye again before I even landed, stunning him immediately. On top of that, shooting his single eye would also result in a stun. I was knocked around by jumps and charges a few times, but I did not fall. And after a short but intense battle of eye-shooting, bomb-inhaling, and tight dodging, I destroyed the last of his ore deposits and the beast was vanquished.
Wow.
Nice.
That's epic.
The end.
Yeah. My first encounter with a blue-white Frox was also my first encounter with a Frox in general.
Same.
And I was not ready for that. Luckily, I found a light route right nearby. This was, I was exploring the depths, probably coming out of Hebra. So there was a lot of stuff down there that was a little bit higher level than what I was expecting. And when I got to this, it was the first time I had seen one, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is that? And I was streaming, so I was curious, and I wanted to figure out what could be done, really, really use this discovery for some hilarity. And I guess in that regard it worked, because I had no idea what I was doing except for getting destroyed. Because I got the whole throw a bomb into its mouth thing, but even if you're just a little too late, you'll also bump into it and take damage.
Yeah.
When it jumps at you, you gotta you just straight up have to sprint away from it. Because when it lands, it's like everything it did was pretty much a one hit at the time, because I only had, I think, maybe 6 hearts when I got here. It just had too many basic moves that did too much damage. So I failed. I tried a number of times before saying, you know what? There's it was one of those underground elevator bits right nearby. It's basically just a place where you can ascend from the bottom of the depths all the way up to the surface. So eventually I ended up just running past him and leaving the depths altogether. But because I had a light route right nearby, I marked it and everything. And once I had a little bit of a better equipment set, a little bit better bearing, I went back down and got revenge. But yeah, the first encounter was as mythical and majestic as it was harrowing and demoralizing.
Yeah, I was a little more well equipped at this point for this fight than the next story I'm going to get to, which I was definitely very out of my realm of what I should be possible of doing. So it didn't have that much trouble with them. I think I might have had to eat 1 or 2 meals to recover the corrupted hearts or gloomified hearts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I basically just ran around to learn what he would do and just dodge until I had an idea of what he would do at different ranges, and then I started to actually fight back. And so he didn't manage to actually kill me.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, the whole shoot him in the eye trick, like I could tell that was a thing, but I couldn't get a great shot from the ground. And I didn't like realize that he would immediately take a hit if you jumped off of him after getting onto his back. Just, you know, with like Hinoxes, there's usually a little bit of recovery time when they're standing back up, or you just can't. So I thought Froxes would work the same way, so I didn't even try. Turns out that is one of the best strategies, is to just straight up, like I think you can even do it before
cheese hard.
Before they'll throw you up into the air, and then they'll like look up and open their mouth and get ready for a big jump at you while you're gliding. But if you actually just jump off of them before they even launch you and just hit them in the eye again, they'll just get stunned again. Like you can really just get them locked into a cycle.
Oh yeah. You can even let them launch you, but then not pull your parachute until you're already like back down around just a little over their eye height, and then go into bullet time. And that's another way you can just be right in the perfect spot to shoot them again and go right back to it.
Yeah. Poor Froxes, man.
Exploitable.
I mean, listen, the baby Froxes are still the most hilarious and fun enemy. Like they make me laugh all the time whenever I'm exploring the depths, running through, and I just hear they all just notice me, and I'm like, you guys, you shouldn't come after me right now. It's a bad idea.
If you just throw a bright boom seed over there, then they'll be distracted with that, and you can just leave.
Yeah, you can just feed them if you want.
They're like your own depth pets,
right? If they weren't so good for farming zonite, I might be nicer to them.
Tears of the kingdom, pets of the depths.
They
Nice.
mined it for me, clearly. So yeah, good stuff.
You need a sequel to Nintendogs and call it Frox.
Frox.
That'd be great.
You play as Ganondorf.
Taking care of your little baby Froxes until they grow up big and strong.
Speaking of playing as Ganondorf, though, the North Lomai Labyrinth, if you approach it from the surface, you're doing it right. But if you want some shortcuts for later, and you can make it there from another sky island using a Zonai device, like sometimes it's good to get that shrine up top, just so you can kind of skip one of the challenges.
Yeah, it's basically a 3-part quest.
It is absolutely. It's a 3-part quest. It's basically a dungeon, honestly.
Yeah.
You just walk right into the front gate if you want. So unlike Breath of the Wild, when you walk into these, you're not responsible for actually solving the first puzzle, or solving the first maze, I should say. But the paths are the same. Like they kept the same everything inside the maze, which is good for consistency purposes. So if you do remember the path, you don't really need what's there. But there on each one of these labyrinths, there is a trail of pine cones that will lead you right through the labyrinth. There's actually a note up ahead that talks about like one of the Zonai researchers who wanted to get in and check out the labyrinth, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to leave this trail of pine cones just in case I need them." And they apparently didn't make any mistakes because they just went straight to the center of the thing. So if you follow the cones, you're good. That being said, when you get to the center, you don't find a member of the Zonai team. You will find another note that's like, "Oh, I found the center, but I can't really do anything now. There's a dragon ring here." It's one of those switches that you need to be linked at this point to open. So he's like, "I'm gonna go back and try to get some help with this. I'm sure the head of the Zonai research team over in Kakariko will be able to help out with this." So he leaves. So he's not there when you get there. But you go down. There's a shrine normally at the center of each of the surface labyrinths, and a dragon ring, which is like it's the same kind of deal of when you enter a shrine or whatever. It's got like the Zonai handprint and everything, but the Ouroboros symbol. And you activate that, and each one is narrated by a different person, I guess. Very, very ambiguous people, but one is like the king of dragons, one is the king of boars, and one is the king of owls. I think this one was the king of dragons in the North Lomai, but I could be wrong about that. I just remember the first one I clicked, like, opened. It was like, yeah, like, I'm the king of dragons, and I give you this challenge. Find the blessing up at the top, and they'll tell you what side of the labyrinth to look in the sky, but they're like, go up to the sky labyrinth and find your blessing at this edge of the thing.
So then, did you not fight the mini boss of that labyrinth then down there?
So right after you click on this and you get that, the room turns red.
Okay, I wasn't sure when it happened.
And you start getting like blood moon music.
Yeah.
But it's not a blood moon. It's a well, I should also note that there's like a hold of the depths here.
You hear like panicked Zonai voices.
Yeah, there's a hole here that would go to the depths, but it's got a gate over it. So you can't actually get through to the depths yet. And the first time this happened, I thought the gloom hands came right out of that hole, but I think that might have just been coincidence. But I also didn't actually fight the gloom hands. I was like, nope. And I ran off to the side of this room where there's a little. There was like a little tunnel to get in, so I went into the tunnel and just ascended to the top of the labyrinth and left. I was like, bye.
Well, maybe this could be my epic tale of fortitude then, because I actually fought them and killed them. And I don't know if you guys know the surprise that's waiting for you at the end of the cereal box.
I have fought and killed plenty of them since, so I do know the surprise in the cereal box. I don't know if Cameron does, though.
Do you want me to spoil it for you, Cameron?
I've not defeated the gloom hands. Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay. So I had mentioned last episode that I had already seen gloom hands because they were by the stuffed animal cart that I ran away from by the Forgotten Temple. And so I was like, you know what? This time I'm not running away. So the way I defeated them was sort of by running away. And I used a lot of bomb arrows. I would just basically like run around that little room with the shrine and kind of like jump off the shrine and do like a parkour flip and then bomb arrow them. And a few times I hit myself because there's just not a lot of space.
Yeah. You don't want to mess around with gloom hands.
No, you want to take them out.
Yeah, because their whole deal is to get you stuck in the gloom. And they'll just take away all your hearts that way. And then they do just a little bit of damage and you're done. So, and there's like 5 of them, and they don't take damage easily.
Yeah.
So every time you hit them with a bomb arrow, it actually like stuns them for maybe just long enough to hit them with another bomb arrow. So every strategy tip video I've seen on these things is always just spam your bomb arrows. So that's pretty much the common strategy for these things.
I will say,
don't let up.
Pulling up a strategy from the rear, from what I just mentioned earlier, if you ever happen to fight gloom hands in Hebra, which I think there is one in Hebra, make sure you try to find the frostbites at first, because then you just have an instant freeze, and then you can just go to town on them and not worry about the gloom. I haven't tried it, but I'm assuming that's how it works because it freezes everything else.
Yeah. I heard that there's a method you can do either with a giant bright bloom seed or maybe the dazzle fruit. I'm not sure which, but there is a way you can just make them despawn. I've made some leave just by getting far enough away from them. They just disappear, and then you go back and you can find what are they called? The gloom. Like, it's not gloom, it's like dusk pouches or something. It's like these weird clumps of darkness.
Oh,
I think it actually just
dust
called dark
clumps.
clumps.
Yeah, dark
Dusk
clump.
clumps. Okay.
Something like that.
Which I guess is a cooking ingredient.
I've used plenty of those, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something with the dazzle fruit, because when you shoot any Stacoblins with dazzle fruit, they instantly despawn. So maybe that works for the Gloom Hands. I haven't tested it. Either way, when you do manage to destroy all 5 of the Gloom Hands, which I think they do respawn if you don't like kill them all within a certain time frame, I think they do start to get their health back. You are met with our good old friend from the Ocarina of Time, Phantom Ganon himself. Da, da, da.
And it's like the Phantom Ganon you would expect from the Ganon of this game. Like he doesn't float around. He doesn't have a spear or a horse. Well, he could have a spear, but he has actually he spawns with different weapons. It's depending on where you're fighting the Gloom Hands.
It's like actually fighting what do I want to say? Like a shade or like a spirit of Ganondorf back in the day would have been. Like before he got all this power, it'd be like what fighting Ganondorf back in the day really would have looked like. I feel.
Yeah, it reminds me of like when you're in a Dark Souls fight against an actual humanoid character.
Mm-hmm.
Because he fights like you, kind of. Like he has a lot of dash attacks.
Darkling.
But he has like some stalls as well where he'll come up and act like he's about to hit you, like to try to get you to, time something wrong, whether it's your jump or your shield block.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll swing. He does gloom damage, which is not.
And he walks with a pool of gloom under him. And I feel like the katana is the hardest one to go up against, because I feel like I can predict the other weapons, like especially the heavy weapon. I can predict that one very easily. The katana has some weird timings where he'll do like a light attack and then he'll hold his attack for like 3 to 4 seconds and then
he's got that Margit disease.
Yeah. He holds his attacks. It feints and just makes you think you're like, oh, am I gonna parry? Am I gonna dodge? Like, what am I gonna do? And then, so it's an interesting fight. And if you get far enough away from him, he will take his bow out too, his phantom bow.
Yeah,
strike you
one
down.
thing. Yeah, the it's not the dusk bow. You said it's phantom bow. I don't remember what it's called. I thought it was a gloom bow or something.
It's the demon bow. Sorry.
Demon bow. There you go. Sorry. I called it gloom bow because every one of these weapons, if you defeat him, you get whatever set he was working with. But they all have a gloom tax, meaning that if you swing, like if it's a regular sword or the spear, you swing like 3 times and you lose a heart, like as if you got poisoned by gloom.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, I imagine it works really well if you actually have the dusk armor, which I do, which is nice. Because it'll just prevent that tax.
They might do that. I was gonna say, like, they have high attack power too, so like it is a nice trade-off though. Like they all are above 40, straight out.
And if you're fighting on the surface, you lose that heart, and then it immediately kind of just heals back empty. You can refill it, but The other thing is the bow scales off of how many hearts you have at the time.
Endgame clutch.
Yeah, which endgame makes it ridiculous, but also if you have gloom sickness and you've lost a heart, it actually reduces the power of your bow. So it actually counts that against you as well.
I don't think the bow has the gloom tax though. But yeah, I'm at 20 hearts right now, and I think the bow has a base. So like you get the base of the bow plus whatever your hearts are currently at. I think the base is like 10 or 15. I could be wrong. So it's like
I don't think it works that way, but sorry. There was another there was a depth adventure that I did that I was going to save for later. It was literally just a series of caves, and at the end was Gloom Hands. And when I got done with that fight, I only had 1 heart left. and that bow had like 2 or 3 damage. Like, oh, all right. This bow does nothing if you don't have health.
Okay, here it is. The bow, apparently its strength starts at 18 base.
There's no way.
That's what it says.
It
says
literally said 2 when I looked at it. I was like,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you have the gloom tax, like if you have like gloom hearts, I'm saying like at full.
Yeah, maybe it just reduces it.
Yeah, at full health though, I think the
Gotcha.
base is 18, and then whatever your health is at, it scales past that. It says the max is 60 for a bow, which is pretty darn good.
Dang.
That's pretty crazy. And then combine that with attack power, oof, you get like 100 damage a shot bow.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to go check, and I don't want to check just by standing in some gloom.
Yeah, it's curious. I wonder like what it brings your health to, or I mean your damage to, with that tax. You must pay the tax of the gloom.
You must pay the troll toll.
Right. So if you fight the gloom hands, that's what happens. It's good stuff. And you can go up to the sky labyrinth, right? Because that's what we were talking about originally, was the labyrinths.
Yep.
Gotcha. So the sky labyrinths, listen, when I got to the third, like, there's 3 labyrinths in the game. They all do the same thing. Spoilers. So this adventure is now a Hyrule-wide adventure. I didn't mean for that to be the case, but that's what's happening. So that being said, the next step is always the sky. You do the surface labyrinth, then you go to the sky labyrinth. The sky labyrinth was really frustrating the first time I did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right the second time, like it was kind of fun. And the last time, like the third one I did, I had a blast. Because I learned how they're supposed to work, or at least I learned a fun way to do it that I didn't quite get the first time I played. With this labyrinth, getting to it was the hardest part because I didn't have like control sticks or batteries or anything, and I was trying to like hot air balloon my way up there. And eventually I did. Took a few tries, but I got up there because I was just impatient, trying different things and balancing my whole setups and just falling off of the map. Well, not off the map, but you know what I mean? Like just having to reset a lot. I think actually the first time I tried to get up here, I ended up giving up, doing something else, and then I came back and got it later. When I was like, wait, I should just go straight up and have that be what I do. So that's what I did. Eventually got up there, and they all exist in low gravity, the labyrinths.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So you can go get your shrine. I'm pretty sure all the ones up here are blessing shrines. And then there's another dragon ring that you can activate, and it'll tell you that you have to go activate 4 switches or 4 more rings, right? Inside the labyrinth. Like, go find them. So in this labyrinth, this north one, it's literally like the 4 corners of the place. I think it might even be at the walls. But it's a symmetrical pattern, whichever way you end up finding it out. It's there's like one circle in the middle of the thing, and I think there's 1 at each corner because there's 3 corners, and then the 4th corner is the shrine you start at.
And they're always at like different elevations though, and it makes it tricky to like kind of know which elevation you're playing with, because as you go throughout the labyrinth, you'll see like you have to go duck up and down and go around elevations to actually get to where you need to go.
Right. And that's the thing. There's not only low gravity, but there's an updraft inside of the labyrinth. With this labyrinth, I ended up just trying to get to the top. And I walked around the top to figure out where I needed to go, and which was significantly less fun. Eventually, I figured out that if you let go of your glider and re-pull it out, like I think in here, because it's low gravity, it doesn't take as much to fly around. And you just, every once in a while you have to land. But other than that, if you drop and then pull out your glider, like drop almost to the bottom of the labyrinth and then pull out your sailcloth, it'll actually spring you up higher than where you were. Or if you just sit at like a mid level, you'll just stay at the same level and glide around.
You're playing a dangerous game, dropping down that low.
Yeah,
you could drop out.
You could drop out, but I think the drop out is actually further down than you think it is. So it's not that bad. I think I have dropped out maybe once or twice, but usually it's recoverable. Haven't had because you have a shrine now. As long as you did the blessing shrine, so you can always just warp back up now. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
So by the third time I did this though, I found out that if you use the glide suit, you know, the glide shirt, glide pants, whatever, the whole deal, you could just Superman your way around this place. Like it's literally like flying Link. You don't lose stamina because you're flying. You're not like you're in glide mode. You're not in parasail mode. You know, so you don't lose stamina, and you can just kind of straight up shoot around the labyrinth and figure out where you need to go, and it makes it a lot faster and a lot more fun to do it that way. Like you need to go lower, all right, hit your dive button and go full dive. You need to go higher, pull out your flying squirrel suit and it'll kick you back up. It's like that is amazing.
Makes me wish I
had known that the first labyrinth, but I don't think I had the full suit the first labyrinth. I don't know if it would have worked, but it definitely worked on the last one, and it was pretty much the best thing ever.
Huh.
Well, now I know.
You find these switches. And it unlocks another ring up on top of the labyrinth in the center. So you go to that one, and you activate that one, and the voice is like, "I've opened the way down to the middle. Like you did a good job, whatever." Right.
By the way, before you
take that
dive, you might want to get kitted out because this upper sky labyrinth is filled with mighty zonite stuff. Just everywhere.
There's treasure everywhere in these things.
Everywhere. And you can get kitted out before.
And like very little enemy. Like I don't think there's any real enemies up in these labyrinths either. It's just all treasure if you can find it.
Yeah.
So the voice is like, go ahead and plunge your way into the depths here. Jump from here, prove your courage. Right? So you dive all the way from the sky straight down into the depths. And the last labyrinth isn't a true labyrinth. It's got some hallways and stuff, but it's very it's just a big box.
Yeah, it's
and all of the paths kind of lead the same way as long as you're following the stairs in the same direction. Like as long as you're going downstairs or
make
whatever.
Sure you get a flashlight, gotta light up the hallways and stuff because it's complete abyssal darkness.
Yeah, it's pitch black. And what's in each of these is a flux construct level 3 in a little square arena. And you can cheese it because you can kind of stay in the hallway and just fight him from the hallway, and he's kind of useless fighting against you in a hallway.
I didn't know that.
But I mean, you can just jump down into the fight and do it that way too. At this point, I mean, I know where we all are in the game. We fought plenty of flux constructs, and it's not really a challenge anymore.
Mm-hmm. But the 3 scared me at first because it was the first 3 I saw.
This was kind of early on in the game, so like the first one I did, I definitely cheesed from the hallway, and then the next 2 I actually jumped out and did the fight the right way. This is the finale of the labyrinth set. So it's quite a bit of work to get the reward here.
And the reward is not even worth it.
Well, it can be, but not until you get everything. Not until you do all 3.
Yeah.
So you finish this. There's yet another switch at the end, and you activate that, and it's like, oh, you did well in conquering this trial. Here's take this this reward. It was once owned by like a dark spirit or something like that, right? Like it basically well known for how powerful it was, evil spirit of the past. And you end up getting in the North Lomai depths, I think it's like the demon trousers or something.
Yeah, the Phantom Ganon Greaves.
Yeah, it's the Phantom Ganon set, but I don't think they actually use the name Phantom Ganon for it, but that's what it is. And so if you do all 3 labyrinth sets, you get the full fit, man. You get kitted out and Phantom Ganon stuff. You can't upgrade the armor. at all. It's got 4 defense per piece. But when you're wearing all of it, you get a disguise, which I know keeps like stall enemies from attacking you. I don't know what other enemies it keeps from attacking you because I haven't played around with it too much. But I think there are some other basic enemies that just will look at you funny and walk around all casual. Kind of like wearing the Majora's Mask or something like that.
Hey.
But it also gives you bone weapon proficiency, which I believe is a 1.8 multiplier on any bone weapon that you're using. And rumors are that there are weapons that are considered bone that don't actually have bone in the title, but I'm pretty sure the rule of thumb is it actually has to say bone. Or if it's a stall Nox arm, or no, not stall Nox, sorry, like a Stacoblin arm or something, then that counts for sure. So those are already pretty high powered in this game. So grabbing one of those with this set makes it beastly. I know that people make what they call Lionel killers, where because if you like typically the stall weapons are very brittle, so they don't last very long, which is what makes having them almost doubled like brings them back to being a viable option. But with Lionels, if you're riding them and you hit them, your weapon doesn't lose durability. So if you can make that happen with these like overpowered weapons, you can just melt them.
Mm-hmm.
And so people have been doing stuff like that. Eat some mighty bananas, put on this outfit, get yourself some ridiculous, Stablin, I don't remember what they're called, Stalfos Moblin combination, arm with like a Lionel horn on it, and just use it to destroy things. So it's good. It's good in that respect. It makes the game a little more fun. I'm currently rocking the outfit.
And the cape though.
The cape is nice.
The cape is nice.
And over if you go by like Eldin Canyon, or where was it? The Trilby Valley. I want to say Trilby Highlands, maybe. The Trilby area. There's like just straight up spiky like dragon bones chilling, lying on the ground all over the place. So when we get over to the Goron area, you'll see this a lot more around Death Mountain. But those bones count as bone weapons, right? So you can make clubs and stuff using them. On their own, they don't give a weapon that much more power. But if you already have a strong weapon and you just want a little power boost, you can throw one of those on as well.
Mm.
So cool set to have and play with.
Sounds like it.
I still only have 2 pieces, so it's incomplete for me because I haven't done the 3rd labyrinth, so I'm hoping to get that glide set, though, before I start. That sounds fun.
It is fun. I mean, I wish I could redo the labyrinths just with the full glide set.
I'll let you know how it goes.
So fast.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Because I already got that full glide set.
There you go.
One question before we break into like another adventure story. So I know that the Tingle set is in the game. Have any of you guys found the Tingle set yet? Because I haven't.
I've gotten the Tingle shirt, I think, and that's it.
Do you know what it does?
I don't know what it does.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm like, I want to know, like, does it like improve fairies? Like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Your fairy finding is doubled. Like,
I was upset when I got it.
Like, why did they put this in the game?
Visibly upset.
Hold on, I think I might even be able to find where I found it, but I'm not going to talk about that this episode, I don't think.
It'd be funny if all it does is give Link an idle animation of a balloon just coming out from his back, and then he floats up in the air and starts drawing maps.
Oh my gosh.
But you can use it to like get some additional height.
Yeah. If you wanted to sit there till the idle animation played, get up there, and then just glide somewhere from up in the air. It's really slow Rivali's Gale.
Worth it.
Oh, so worth it.
All right, so whose adventure are we going to go to next? Who wants to adventure?
All right, why don't I get into my epic then? There I was, gliding to a faraway sky island in the Hebra region. This island was circle-shaped and covered with what looked to be ruins on my map. I knew I was in for a battle. It looked like an arena of epic proportions. As I neared it, my heart sank as I saw it, circling the island like a predator protecting its domain. A Gleeok. But not just any Gleeok. The King Gleeok. A beast of 3 different elemental heads and a temper to match the gods of old themselves. I landed and saved my game immediately, for I knew death was imminent. I began the fight as laser beams tracked my every move, as giant blasts of ice, fire, and lightning exploded into AoE zones of death around me. One single mistake, and I was a goner. And I was a goner many times. Too many to count. Not really, probably 20 to 30 times. But I did not falter. With each death came new knowledge and a greater fighting chance than the last. I beat my head against the wall that was King Gleeok with the mindless fervor of a lemming following its brethren off the cliff to its demise. When I'd finally gotten the feel of the fight, I was devastated to find a second phase awaiting me. Around the 1/3 health left mark, the king ascends high into the sky, the clouds darken with his fury, and lightning strikes at me repeatedly to eviscerate me. Ice spikes drop with the speed of a locomotive attempting to crush me into dust, and tunnels of air come to life in the wake of the destruction being wrought. The idea was at first to ride the tunnels of air skyward to the king's lofty throne. However, each time I attempted just that, a lightning strike or spike of ice crushed my attempts. Again and again, I fell to the rage of the king. Throughout the war, I had learned to eat strength food so my arrows would incapacitate the heads quickly, and my attacks would bring his health down much faster. However, it was not enough, until inspiration struck. After the king recovers from a head thrashing, he stands still briefly and heaves a mighty wind all around that will knock you back if you're too close. However, this also means he's an easy target for that time. I attached rockets to all of my shields, ate my power feast, and began again. After knocking him down and beating the stuffing out of him, I retreated a distance and prepared my rocket. He arose and his mighty wind blew, but it did not reach me. I soared into the sky with my rocket, and before he could even leave the ground, I had him down again. This was it, my winning strategy. The king was helpless before me now, a child whose candy was mine for the taking, a terror no more. I repeated this cycle, preventing him from even taking his throne up high in the second phase. He was putty in my hands, and soon enough he had breathed his last. I was victorious over the greatest foe by a large margin I had encountered, and my spirits were high. I was rewarded with a sage's will for my conquest, and I set off again knowing nothing could stop me now, for the king himself was powerless before my cunning and might.
All right.
Oh, that was a tale to go down in history.
The epic is complete.
So how many hearts did you have when you got into that?
6 or 7.
Oh,
He
no.
one-shot me with every single attack, no matter what it was.
So you just Dark Souls that joint and got good.
Exactly. It was exactly that.
Okay.
So wonder you don't like Dark
Man.
Souls.
Yeah, because I'm okay doing that one time in like a 300-hour video game. I don't want to do that 50 times throughout the whole video game and have that be the whole game.
That's fair.
Because it was very frustrating. I probably was getting close to giving up before I had the idea of, I can just rocket myself up into the air and stop him from even being able to attack me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if I have enough shields and enough rockets, I can beat him without him ever getting an attack off after I get him on the ground one time. And I've beaten multiple more King Gleeoks the same way, and it always works.
Nice.
You just have to know the distance to run away so that his mighty wind gust when he gets up doesn't hit you. Because if he hits you with that, he's always going to get up in the air and start doing his stuffs again. His anger-inducing stuffs.
Yeah. My first time fighting the Gleeok, it was not a King Gleeok. It was actually like a Frost Gleeok. And I guess I should start from the beginning because I got sidetracked on a different mission. You know me and how much I love snowboarding.
Hey,
Just a border for life.
hitting that powder.
Not in real life, but in Zelda games for sure. So I had to go visit my girl Selmy, who's the shield surfing queen. But when I got up to her cabin up in the Hebrew Mountains, she wasn't there. I think what's her name? Russ was there, maybe. Russ and Finn are like are students of hers or fans of hers that are trying to learn,
Her lackeys.
how to be the best. And one of them is at the cabin, and they're like, "Yeah, Selmy, she said she's gonna go do something, but she hasn't been back in a very long time, and we're starting to get worried. Finn's out looking for her, that kind of deal. They should be somewhere around this Byron snow shelf. If you go over there, you might be able to find them. And you can do that. You can go to the Byron snow shelf, but one thing that's happening over by the Byron snow shelf is that there's like a lower section and a higher section. In the lower section, you'll find Finn with a campfire, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I think she said she was heading this way, but I haven't found anything. Maybe there's something I'm missing. It's starting to get late or whatever. It's been a long time. I don't know. I'm just worried about it, right?" And the solution is to actually find the East Byron Snow Shelf Cave, and it's a tunnel. The cool thing about this is that it's actually a shortcut later for the snowboarding time trials. So if you remember where this tunnel is, you can just kind of straight up snowboard through it. That's what it's made for, and you can go in there and you can rescue Selmy. But if you are heading towards Finn, you're more than likely to look slightly to the right and see a frost Gleeok just kind of chilling in the same area. And I went for it. I shot my shot. I was like, I'm gonna go drop down on this frost Gleeok. Gonna be the first one I ever fight. And it was a bad time. I died so many times, and I tried different strategies. I was like, I'm gonna use spring shields, and I would jump up on the spring shield, try to get some bullet time in to do it that way. That was mildly effective. So I mean, every once in a while it would work out. Originally, I think I just tried running up and just straight up getting headshots without doing any kind of arrow time stuff, and that didn't last very long.
Yeah, no.
I almost prefer the king. Now that I've fought a king, than doing a all one element, because there's no variety. It's just especially the frost one is very laser focused. It's literally ice beams that it shoots at you, like a series of 3 ice beams, and you got to either run away, find cover. If you have a rocket shield, that definitely helps because then you don't really have to find cover. You can just kind of go on the offensive. So that is a critical strategy. I didn't really have any rocket shields for this, so that wasn't really on the table quite yet. What I ended up figuring out, well, there were a few things. One, every time I get this thing to second phase, me and Tulin were out there. I mean, a few times I tried to make some Zonai devices, and the Gleeok would literally just shoot them or, stomp on it, and it would just be gone one hit. So that was kind of upsetting. I was like, I'm pretty sure these are supposed to be more durable than that, but okay. Then the thing would eventually get into a mode after getting enough good shots off and fighting it well in the first phase. The Frost Gleeok second phase is wild, especially if you don't have a whole lot of ways to get the vertical. It just flies a mile up into the air and creates a giant snowstorm and sends a bajillion ice spikes down at you. And what I found is that if you run in a serpentine pattern, then they won't land directly in your way. They try to predict where you're going to be when you're running. So if you run and turn and turn and turn, they'll just kind of drop off to the left and right of you. And you can just kind of run around like that and wait for him to come back down. But it takes a very long time. And even when he comes back down, he pretty much just goes right back up.
Oh, really?
One thing that I tried was jumping on top of an ice spike and then doing a recall on it to lift me back up because the ice spikes are all platforms. They all look like platforms anyway. And that can work, but you also have to get lucky because if you do this on your way up, another ice spike can fall in the exact same spot and just smack you right off your platform. but a few times I was actually able to ride the ice bike up to the storm and through the storm, and then fly over and start attacking the Gleeok. It's just like crazy the way that I had to fight this thing. Eventually, what I found out is that Keese eyeballs and Aracuda eyeballs work really well at like closing a gap if you can't actually get the whole distance yourself. Like instead of using the wing to get far distance, it's like get as close as you can and then just kind of shoot up at it with the eyeballs on your arrows, and that was a good way to get free headshots, and they would fall all the way back down. I think what I ended up doing was I learned that if you actually end up getting just as high as the Gleeok or come in from above or something, you can kind of coax it into the air a little bit. And the higher up it is, the more fall damage it takes. So especially getting through that phase 2 where it automatically wants to be super high up in the air, being able to get close enough to use a homing arrow, it would fall down and like just half the phase would be over from one fall. You'd be like, all right, we just gotta make sure that we can get to it again. It was a challenging time. I think what ended up happening was just lucky spike rides up into the storm. But again, it's just a dangerous game because those stinking spikes can just fall right on top of each other. And there's no way to really avoid that if you're committed to a spike. Like you're going to get hit by the next one. It was a really rough fight. I think it took me at least a dozen tries to get it. I mean, probably more than that, but I had to like leave and go get more supplies and come back a few times. Like it was to that level of like, I don't have any meals. I don't have any recovery. It's taking all my ferries. So I would like go to one of the Sky Islands, get more stuff, come back. Its health would be back. And I'd be like, all right, let's try again. That was pretty much it. I mean, one of the worst things about it I found is that it's kind of unpredictable when the Gleeok is going to reset its health. Because there were certain times where you would, I don't know, get knocked out, or I would just leave like out of his zone a few feet or something and then come back and it would be like his whole health bar would be back and I'd be like, are you kidding me right now? I just had you down like all the way. I just wanted to go cook something real quick or whatever. And it's just, no, you can't do that. So, yeah,
Easy leash.
fun times. Fighting my first Frost Gleeok. Every Gleeok since then has been way easier, including other Frost Gleeoks, because I know what I'm up against and I know better strategies of getting vertical. But that one was hard.
Yeah, it seems like the first time you fight a Gleeok, it is not an easy thing unless you have been told how to do it, but like figuring it out for yourself tends to be a pretty painful experience. You're probably going to die a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least if you're fighting a single elemental Gleeok, you can equip armor that can give you resistance or eat something that can give you resistance to that single element. Whereas the king, if you just, go full ice resistance, then the fire and the thunderhead is going to destroy you just as much.
Yeah,
So,
and I have tools now that would definitely help with that. The other thing that I learned is like, if you can actually get hit, I mean, don't underestimate type advantages. If you're fighting a Frost Gleeok, use your fire fruits. Like it will, instead of having to get 2 or 3 headshots, you might only have to get 1 if you're using a fire fruit. Something like that just helps a lot. But yeah, just that and having the right gear definitely helps.
and after that, did you go get your stiz on, bro?
Absolutely, bro.
Nice.
Mad Stoke.
I had stiz, bro.
Shredded the powder, bro. Fresh. Fine, bro. All right, so went back to Sell Me Spot. We actually did do the snowboarding trials. She even kind of mentions like, hey, that cave I was in, maybe that could be a path. It's just like, oh, I wouldn't try it. It's too dangerous. Like I got stuck in there, But it's just a hint. Like you can totally do that if you want, and it helps. At this point, it's the same snowboarding as Breath of the Wild for the most part, other than the tunnel. with very similar rewards as well. Like if you beat the longer one, it's like your reward is shields. Like you get shields. So if you need to farm shields, you can always go back to sell me spot and shield surf for shields. You have to use your shield to get the shield. But yeah.
So just to interject something that has to do with shield surfing that I experienced in the Hebrew region. Did you guys do the Sky Island where you have to like, I think you touch one of those platforms, you spawn a ring on a sky platform and you have to dive down and then go into a shield surf to get to multiple more rings to actually make a shrine appear?
That sounds familiar. I've done every Sky Island shrine, so I must have done it.
Because when I tried that the first time, this is actually the reason I went and got the entire glide set, because the timing was so tight on that if I didn't have the glide gear and I had to use the paraglider to stop midair and move a little bit more to get to the next ring in midair before I hit the ground, I didn't have enough time to hit the first ring once I started boarding. So I had to get the entire glide set gear in order to be able to hit the couple of rings as I moved through the air so I could get to the ground fast enough and go into the shield surfing in order to hit the rings after that to get to the shrine. That is the thing that prompted me to go and get the entire glide set for that one shrine. I was like, I tried it 5 or 6 times and could not get it. And I was like, am I just bad? And then I got the glide set and it was first time. And I was like, oh, so it was basically necessary, I feel like. I was just wondering if you guys remembered that or if you managed to do it without the full glide set.
I'm guessing I did it without the glide set, but at the same time, I don't remember.
Not one of the things that's sticking out to you.
No, I remember doing something that sounds that cool with shield surfing and rings and stuff, but I can't remember. Like I'm looking in Hebrew and I can't even pick out which island it was. It's like one of those things where I'm like, what did that island look like? Like what?
It was a very small island. The island was just big enough for that circle that you touch, and then you turn around and there's some like a little path and then some stairs going down that immediately break off, and that's where the first ring was. You had to jump off.
Okay.
So the island probably kind of looks like a lollipop, where it's like a straight little thing into a circular area where the ring you touched was, and that's the whole island.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't pick out like where it is.
I'm not even looking. I mean, I could be.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely did it. I don't think I had the glide suit when I did it.
Yeah, I could not get it without it.
Man. This game though. Anthony,
though.
what's your last adventure though?
My last adventure is not as epic as fighting a Gleeok. In fact, it has to do with running away from a Gleeok. But
okay.
It is still of epic proportions. And it has to do with Zelda.
Oh.
To begin my quest, you must have already talked to Tracy. I know. Nobody wants to actually talk to Tracy. But to begin this quest, you have to talk to Tracy at the Lucky Clover Gazette and have Pen fly off to start the stable quests.
You're going to talk about one of the stable quests?
Yes. Because it is probably... I mean, all the stable quests are actually hilarious. I'm sure we'll talk about them eventually. There's a lot, and they're funny. They're so funny.
There are like 14 of them, and they're all kind of gags, yeah.
Yeah. This one, not so much a gag or funny. It's kind of epic. So you get to the Snowfield stables. So like this is basically, I've already completed Hebra, and I'm headed out west. I'm headed towards Korak Forest. I'm headed towards Typhlo Ruins from Breath of the Wild, and then eventually Elden. I have no clue what's in front of me. This is even before I did the Labyrinth. I got to the Snowfield stable, and you walk up to Pen, and he basically is saying that Zelda's golden horse got spooked and ran off to the north. So forget about whatever horse she had in the last game. That horse, it doesn't matter. Something happened. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I think it's still in this game. It's just got a whole different backstory now.
Oh, okay. So it's in this game, but it doesn't matter. So we got the golden horse. Zelda found a new horse, and it was golden, fitting of royalty. And it ran off it got spooked from something. And so I think one of the girls, or like I think she was a stable hand. She used to take care of the horse for Zelda. She kind of like is with Penn, and they're basically like, we need to get this horse back. And then, being Link, you're like, I'll do it. So
Of course.
you go up, and you basically have to cross the entire Tabantha snowfield. So Snowfield Stable's sort of at the south end, and you have to cross the entire Tabantha field to get to the north Tabantha snowfield. Along your way,
I think I know where this is going, because there's a certain somebody who is on watch on that snowfield.
He's on Mega Watch, yeah. So like you get out there, like I had what horse did I have with me at the time? I have so many horses.
Man, I got like three horses, and like two of them are quest horses. Well, I think I have 4.
Oh wow, I have max horses. I think I have like 8 horses right now.
I think I have 4. I think I have 2 horses that I caught for myself, and then 2 that were like, hey, can you go find this horse? And this was one of them.
Oh dang. Yeah, like at this time I had Epona and Cowbutt, because he is a black horse and he has like white cow marks all along his butt, and I just thought it was really funny, so I named him Cowbutt. He is my main steed. He's actually got really good stats. He's all above 4 stats. I think he's got 4 strength, 4 speed, and then the max on the acceleration, I think.
What's his pull strength, bro?
Like I think it's
pull strength.
It's either 3 or 4. I know I upgraded it.
Oh man, he'd be pulling.
He's pulling, but I don't really put the pull harness on because I don't really pull much. But
Does your horse even lift, bro?
Does your horse even lift? If he got that 2 pull strength, he's not lifting. So yeah, I was fighting some like bokoblins on horses, and you just chumps, taking them out. And I got a little bit upfield, and there's just a frost Gleeok like flying around the field, just out and about.
Yeah.
And if you look a little bit further into the distance, I mean, you can even use your zoom module that you have. Like, if you just look like, I want to say it's not even more than 40 yards from the frost Gleeok. It's just the golden horse is just chilling over there under these like pillars.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
there's a bunch of ruins out there that have never been explained, just out there.
Yeah.
And there's more in this game because there's like sky ruins that have fallen as well. And the golden horse is just chilling in some ruins, and the Gleeok's partying through the ruins like, oh yeah, these are my ruins now.
So the game is basically like, yeah, you gotta fight a dragon to get this horse. You gotta fight a dragon. So again, I tried to fight the dragon. I think with the heart container I got from all of because I was doing stamina. So yeah, it was just a heart container from what's his name? The Scourge of the Wind Temple. Colgate. There we go. Colgate.
Yeah, Colgate.
Yeah, so from Colgate, I got 1 heart container. I think I was at 6. So I was just not having it. I was dying. Frost Gleeoks are the worst. I was trying to fight them. I think I got him down to like half health, and I just gave up. And then I just scrammed and did like a heist mission, like Grand Theft Horse, and just ran the horse back to the stable.
I'm gonna go do my ice storm now. I was like, all right, you have fun with that. I'm out.
Later.
I find it funny that you guys are the ones that like your Dark Souls and Elden Ring games, and I don't. And you both ran into Gleeoks and ran away, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I came back. I only ran away to get supplies.
So I did have a triumphant Gleeok story. It's just this was like the third day of the game that I was like not having it. At that third day of the game, I was like, I'll come back to this. I know I'm gonna beat him, just not right now. I'm trying to enjoy myself. So you get the horse to the stable. Beautiful horse shining through the snow. It's just gorgeous. And I think you need about 2 full stamina bars to actually mount the horse. So if you're not if you're not grinding them shrines, you're not going to get this horse. I'm just going to like lay it flat out on you right now. It's the beginning of the game, but you need to have at least 2 full stamina bars, I think.
Drink some stamina potion.
Yeah, or make a yellow, get a, what is it, tireless frog?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can soothe it, and then when you're about to run out, just pause the game and drink your potion and get more. You don't have to have yellow.
That's cheating.
And what?
That's
cheating.
preparation.
Nah, you gotta just grind it out right there, then and there. Get the stamina,
bro. You don't think you can straight up rodeo one hand the horse and pop an elixir with
I
your other
because
hand?
I did that in Breath of the Wild, but in this game, it's the golden horse. You wanna use cheap tricks to mount the golden horse? Come on.
You gotta prove yourself.
Exactly.
Potions class ain't cheap tricks, bro.
All right, so like, yeah, you use your cheap tricks, your potions, you just mount them, and
you just have the bottle hanging out your mouth before you get started.
Just ready to go.
He's got the stamina potion hiding in like a suicide tooth, just in the middle of the ride, just
chomp it down.
Yeah.
Get that hit.
You come back to the Snowfield stable, and you just got like green dripping out of your mouth, and there's like leaking like all over the horse and your clothes. They're like, "What did you do?" He's like, "I don't want to talk about it."
Horse gets extra stamina too.
Don't drink out of a glass bottle while riding a bucking bronco. That's all I gotta say.
It's a messy endeavor.
Like,
yeah, I think we go back to the same lady. I don't know what her name is, but I just know her as the stable hand for the golden horse.
Yeah, I mean, you could, before this mission happens, you can actually go to that stable and just see the golden horse chilling in the stable. And she'll talk about how it was Zelda's horse, and it's like, but Zelda went missing, so now we're just been taking care of it for her. And then, you come back later after you've gotten the Lucky Clover mission started, and it'll be like, the horse went running away.
Oh, no.
We think maybe it saw Zelda or something, right? Because that's how all these things happen.
Yeah, everyone sees Zelda.
Everyone's seeing Zelda.
Where's Zelda? I think the cool thing you get from the end of this mission is a royal saddle and a royal bridle, which you can equip on any horse you have, which is cool.
Yeah.
Royal saddle, peasant horse.
Mad steez on the horses.
Mad steez.
And then
cool.
That was it, honestly. I mean, I had one half more of a sort of like gotcha that I just didn't even know about. You want to cover it or not.
Another gotcha, you said?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it in the chat before this episode. So the internet went wild over a crystal refinery, a zonite crystal refinery. It threw me for a loop, I think, up until I definitely didn't discover it at this point in the game. It was almost towards Elden. When I got to Elden and started doing those quests, I actually discovered this refinery. I had already discovered the Southern Mine Forge and obviously the Sky Island Forge that we start. But there's literally a refinery for zonite just right outside of Lookout Landing. And I had no clue this was here. In fact, I'm not the only one. There is Reddit forums, there is YouTube videos, people wrote blog posts. I mean, it's all over the internet that this refinery has just like somehow gotten past everybody. Like no one's thought to check just right outside of Lookout Landing.
Yeah.
I found that one right away, but I didn't have enough zonite to use it, and then I forgot. But I did find it when I ran around the exterior of the place. I was like, oh, there's one of these guys with a refinery here.
Yeah.
It's funny that tons of people miss that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't find it the first time I was here either. When I did find it, I was like, oh, this is right here. That's great. I can make bigger stops while I'm here now. Like I can stop and go to the shops to sell stuff if I need to, and I can whatever. Like there was, there's some stuff to do in this area that is worth coming back for. And I was like, now I can go there while I do this. I almost never use that refinery. There's the refinery that's on the Great Sky Island. Like there's a warp point right in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that versus coming to the Lookout Landing and then either jumping out of the tower or running out the front gate to go around to get to it. It's just not as convenient.
You lose 5 gamer seconds. That's critical gamer seconds that you can't lose. It's a 5.
That's like I stream this game, man. That's like radio dead air right there.
It's pretty anti-Steez, bro.
Here, guys, let me walk through a door real quick when I could have just fast traveled straight to one. It's like time is precious. I can't be doing that.
But yeah, I had no clue that thing was there. I don't know how I missed it. I never looked outside of Lookout Landing. I always just fast traveled to it and then just went to the shop, Pestu, pose.
Yeah, and I think it's like, what is it? It's like the first time you're told to go anywhere, right? You get to Lookout Landing and Imperial's like, hey, head towards the castle. On your way out that gate to go towards the castle, if you look to your right, it's right there.
Yeah, there's just a zone I ruin.
It's not like it's on one of the other sides where you wouldn't naturally go that way. The game directs you right past it twice, like right off the bat.
To me,
you got to go out and then come back later.
To me, it didn't look enough of like a standout architecture for me to care about. I was too excited to go to the castle that I didn't take the time to just be like, what's this thing that looks like all the other Zonai ruins that are out here?
Yeah. And I mean, when you're inside Lookout Landing, Pura's like research lab building is huge and actually is in the way, so you don't actually see it when you're inside the landing.
Yeah.
That's not until you're on the path out that you can look over and be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah. So I think it's commonplace now that I think most people know that this thing exists, but I think around a month ago, people were just finding out that this thing was in existence almost a month and a half after the game. And it's just crazy to think about. It's like this thing was literally in front of everyone's noses. And you either found it or you heard about it and were like, oh, wow, that's here.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that's gonna do it for this episode then. I'm gonna go ahead and put a bow on this one. That has been our episode of A for No, B for Yes. Thank you all for being here and for listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice. Any good reviews that you leave do help us get more visibility, help more people find the show. If you'd like to contact us, you can do that on our website, link in the description per usual. And otherwise, y'all, have a good few weeks, and we'll catch you on the next episode of A for No, B for Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
Did you get all that? Was it by the Ancient Observation deck? No, it wasn't. Guys, where's my Frox?
What about the brand new observation deck?
We
Doesn't exist.
We don't talk about the brand new observation deck.
Terrible atrocities have been committed at the brand new observation deck.
Terrible atrocities.
Acts against humanity.
I love how the Froxes all have nests.
And then
They
their
don't
kids
call
are
it
scattered
that.
everywhere.
Yeah, their kids aren't actually at the nests.
How dare they?
How dare you?
You come into my den, kill my children. On guard.
If only they were that good.
I will summon my children.
Can you imagine, like, it would have been so much more scarier if during the middle of the boss fight, they just, like, upchucked, like, a bunch of kids, and there was just, like, 20 little baby Froxes coming at you.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be the DLC. It's going to be the Frox carrier. Just,
There you go.
Right?
It just like lays eggs in the middle of combat, and if you don't destroy them within like 20 seconds, it spawns 5 babies.
Because that would have been crazy. That would have actually been a challenge, like a hard challenge.
And then when it does its suck up attack, it just sucks its own kids up.
Oh, jeez.
Got dark.
Goodbye, kids.
it was this one. I found the guy.
Hi everyone, I'm Nerd Bummer.
And I'm Tactic, and we're two of the hosts of the Online Warriors podcast.
Our podcast started as a way for 3 best friends to keep in touch and discuss their nerdy hobbies like movies, gaming, tech, and more.
Since then, we've grown into a great community. Every Wednesday, we chat about the latest nerdy news before getting hands-on with our weekly nerdy adventures.
And don't forget our high-stakes trivia game. Come join the fun at onlinewarriorspodcast.com and every major podcast platform. And now, back to the show.